Hello everyone, we're going to play Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. I'm very, very excited to get this, as I've been talking about it a lot on our podcast in the Game Arcade. Again, I'm not on cam because I am so sick right now. And I just want to play at least like the first hour or so of this, because I think that's literally all my voice is going to be able to take. So, we're just going to go, Recognizer with 1. Let's just go safe at the moment, just starting out, because I heard that this game is a lot harder than the first one. Let's see what we've got. Machinist, Operator, and Extractor. I don't remember if these are the same types as before. I honestly can't remember. I don't think so, though. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's just read them. Extractor sleepers were built to work at the coalface of corporate resource extraction. High level of physical endurance, but their confidence means they struggle with tasks requiring intuition. Boosting their crew dice. We're often confident, self-sufficient. Okay, that's pretty good. So they don't have much for intuition there. And this one doesn't have endurance. Okay. This one, operator sleepers are built to work with drones, remote machines over local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from a distance. Okay, this one, they did have this one before. I do remember this. And I remember not choosing it, so I don't want to do that one. I feel like I either did the machinist or I did the other one. So this one engages 4, what it looks like. Built to repair and modify automated systems used in corporate resource extraction. Very skilled, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring direct approach or social engagement. Sleepers assigned to the machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured. Focus. I think I want to try this one. I like this one. The extractor. So let's try the extractor. Hopefully my voice clears up before we record the episode of Indie Game Arcade. In the moment before waking the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially, oh my gosh, like the boot process of an old terminal. First your body, artificial, compromise, but relaying sense data all the same. Then it's context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 years. Cycle. Oops. Fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: the fear. It is a scrambled, panicked fear. The drowning fear. The falling fear. The fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear. An act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper. A familiar name. A mind copied, emulated. A body built, implanted. One person, sleeping, until their debt is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. Proxy, an emulation, a sleeper, that is what you are. But you escaped. You remember that now. Broke free of your corporate creators, SNRP, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Oh. Pale eyes in a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear when you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt, a sharp smirk, but this ends here. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away to the corners of your vision to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough? The vial glitters. This object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer. The drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind, from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid rolling in the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial. But it would be wasted on you now, after what you have done to this body of yours. He looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you, those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere... Oh! That's someone else. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you only find dizzying darkness. Shut him up! Lane barks the command. You hear the sounds of impact of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. Free you? Free are you? Lane smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free. You are just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grips your arm hard, and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move, but you have ruined all that. Lane speaks louder over the sound of the struggle behind him. I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it. But your emulation... You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugging into you, looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling the cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Hey! He waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out long. He unloops a cable from around your wrist. Sleeper, help me out here. You blink slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you, and you feel his hands on the connector flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on! He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you are in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see a dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you. And then you are out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley. The one who guided you here pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember this station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead and floats it away, and it floats away in a swarm of spears. Talk to me. You see a concerned frown across his face. Don't mess with me, sleeper. That's not funny. He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes, waits for an answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the images of a station. No, a city. Growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells. I'm too sick for this. Shadowed by them, you open your eyes. Dark side. The world leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me? Who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes. Panic, perhaps. You stare hard at his face, the slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He is speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process, and he lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on! The rig can't be far. As you are led through the passengers and service ways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages, cycle after cycle. The rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer, the promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond that moment, the residue of panic, of fear, remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait! Your guide holds up a hand, and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead you see the tunnel opens up into a wide open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels. The docks. I almost said the door locks, but that was me being dyslexic again. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it. One covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye and you see he is playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphin, all right? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor. Both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you, to break your dependence on the stabilizer. He pauses. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete, and... He sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. Sure. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you can do this. Seraphim kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads! He bellows to the guards and he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. Oh, here we go. We're finally doing some skill checks. Like dice actions you will encounter later, skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you'll succeed. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. Okay. You wait a breath, then glide across to the door they were guarding. You look already panicked at the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Okay. So these are my chances. 50% neutral, 50% negative. 25% positive, 50% neutral, 25%. So using my engineering skills is our best bet, so we're gonna try that. Okay, we got a neutral outcome, that's good. You shift to the central access panel and wrench it open. You scan over the mechanism looking for a weakness. Somewhere nearby you hear more shouting. You reach in and grab the main latch, straining as you bend it outward. The seal releases, and you drag the door halfway open. It screeches in its metal frame as you pull. Go! Go! Seraphim flies to you, through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphim. Seraphim is already at the rig's door inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open, and you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphim grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on! The rig's drive rumbles to life, and Seraphim slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. We're escaping! We did it. There we go. As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphim burned hard out of Darkside, okay? And you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphim breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked this ship countless times in your work for Lane. Problem is, you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. We'll just stay silent. He shakes his head, then unclips from the pilot seat. Seraphim reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize, is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short, percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphim kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you. Glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan, he glances around. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly. he sighs. Okay. So, let's say we need to talk. Because I don't know anything. Seraphin furrows his brow. Not now, sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than. He pauses again, unsure. Us. He sighs. We need to survive this thing first. Then maybe we talk. I wonder if we're lovers or something, and I just can't remember. Stay silent. We've bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do. And there are plenty of opportunities here for us. If we can keep our heads down. He turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along hand over hand in 0G. You can probably hear my dog making noise in the background. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's insides. So we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you know it, but if you and I know one thing, sleeper, it's how to work. I'm gonna get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections. People that might throw us an easy contract. You, he glances back over his shoulder, you keep out of trouble. Seraphin stops at the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway through. He pulls a worn crew jacket from a locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into the sleeve. I don't want you passing out and. He stops. Let's see. I'll just say this. Seraphin drops his head, swearing to himself. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damned hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Stay silent. Seraphin stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open and Seraphin glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here. Any trouble? Okay. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch! Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand you see a stack of cryo chits. Those should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies, he grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, all right? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he's gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into the Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. Let's make a plan. You try to think ahead to what might be coming. You'll need to work, that's the first step, but what then? Lane will be coming eventually. The sooner you can put some distance between you and Hexport, the better. So that's the plan. Rest, resupply, and run. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into the port. Okay, so now we can choose some stuff. The game runs in cycles during which you can perform actions with your dice, use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, items progress, clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time, use the guide section of the menu. Okay. Use the mouse wheel to scroll your view. Select locations with left click. Right click to leave a location. Okay. So that's where I am. So there's the docks. Yeah, we assign action dice, so just like the old one. Dice will be modified by your skill. We got the 3 outcomes. There's also safe, risky, or dangerous. That makes sense. Chat to the cruise, explore the docks, which has danger. And the more we do these, the more stuff will be unlocked. So at the moment, there's not much for us to do. Just one of these two. Export, exchange, trade scrap, which at the moment is dangerous. Impress the brokers. The data brokers are the heart of exchange. They show off their knowledge by discussing decryption. Maybe you can talk the talk. And what can I do back at our place? So this is our ship and home. Use dice to reduce stress. Use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. Yep. The clock is a cycle clock. Will progress towards an event with each cycle. Its completion will do something. Make a meal. I did want to do that. Okay. That's good. Rest and recover. Do I need that right now, though? Because that ends the cycle. So I think really what we should do... what would happen if we put like our best here? 100% positive. Let's do it. There we go. You progress the clock. Clocks track your progress towards positive and negative events. Cool. This is where contracts are filling, yeah. So that's good. Like we do need this to fill. And it was good that we got such a positive thing. Let's see. 50% positive, 50% neutral. I mean, that's still good. Let's try it. Hell yeah, dude. Neutral outcome. That's great. That's great. Okay. So I wonder then, what happens? I can't put anything there, right? Like, what do I do here? I can't put anything else here, it looks like. So I guess, okay, I think that means that I can't do anything else for today, but maybe another time. Oh, it did open some stuff up. Look. Buy fuel, fill fuel, buy supplies, fill supplies. What else have we got? Here you can eat in exchange for cryo. Put 3 cryo. I mean, I just made some food, so I don't want to do that. Let's go here. And okay, that's dangerous. Let's... Ooh, could be negative. Let's try it though. Oh Oh, negative outcome. I lost energy. That sucks. Alright. Those ones, though. Those ones suck. Okay. Let's just... I could get a negative. Yeah. So, I don't want to risk that. Let's just, let's end the cycle. We're in trouble, Sleeper. Seraphim leans into the bunks as you are getting up. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift into the passage, pulling on your clothes, and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphim is a silhouette silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphim inside holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the 0G engine room. You know what these are? Sure. Tubes? Seraphim rolls his eyes, but you see the hint of a smile. Thanks, genius. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air. And before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard out on our way out of Darkside. He looks at the mess. We're lucky the reserve tank is empty, otherwise... He shakes his head. It would have been bad. But... He pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lump in housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. Seraphim sighs. That's the short of it. Seraphim whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We will need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So how about you try and track them down? I'll take a look at things here and... Oh, my dog. I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row's the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. Seraphim keeps working. Wait! Seraphim pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. You said it, Seraphim sighs, which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He gives a weak smile. Get going. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphim's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines. That's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. Okay, you've discovered a drive. Help you track and choose your objectives. So the arrow button in the top left opens the drive menu. Okay. Once a drive is tracked in a yellow marker, will be placed above the location that relates. Cool. So those are basically like quests. They're just calling them drives. Understood. Yeah. So that's the... So here. Okay. We do have one of these. Hoping might win you some fans among the factories. Could be good. Everything else is pretty neutral, which I'm a little worried about. I do have some endure though, right? So, like if I put this here, how am I looking? Ooh. Okay. So, I'm not looking at a failure. I'm not looking at a failure here. Whereas here, if I put it over here, yeah, I'm looking at a possible failure. So let's try this. Okay, neutral outcome, good. And now if I put this here, oh, I could still possibly, it's because I don't have, okay, we need to put it here. 100% positive, yes. There we go. Trust the supplier plus 7 cryo. Now the trick is not to waste it. Yeah. Factory row howls as you glide through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind. Whirring manufactories precisely engineer components with rapidly shifting arms while scrappers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. You know, at one point there was a way to re-roll some of these, and now I'm wondering, did they take that out, or can I re-roll some of these? I'll have to look. Maybe that'll come up later. Everywhere you look, there's energy and activity, and for good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector, and even the small amount of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way because of the dark side. That place and your memories of it are a muddy haze, but it is hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport's, and that wild flickering city growing on their back like a tumor. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, that one. But deep in Factory Row, you could almost be back in Darkside. Then you see them, tubes, just like those Seraphim had waved in your face, the feed lines. You push over to the display window of the unit marked Karsten's Supply and block capitals cut from the whole plate. There amongst an angled shelf of oversized ship components sit the feed lines, like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside where the sound of Factory Row is a little screened and spot a large figure working at a bench. Hunched over, concentrating, it seems he doesn't notice you enter. Let's wait patiently. You let him work, watching as, despite his heavy build, he delicately aligns the components, their layers slotting like puzzle pieces. After a few moments of observing the process, he turns his head a little towards you. "Can I help you?" His accent is heavy but unknown to you. Let's see. We'll start with this. You can see little reaction from the profile of Carson's face. He grunts. "Something you need." Before you can respond, he tracks your eyes to the feed lines in the window. He looks back at you with a subtly changed expression, one you can't quite place. He turns with surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Karsten's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. "Custom built those, for a client that never collected." He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. "You have one of the old MEVs then." He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. You try to recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories elude you. Perhaps Seraphim should have come along. Just say that. Karsten nods. "Always good to see one of those still running." Look. Carson drifts over to where you are standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone. Let's say a few hundred cryo on clean chits. He shoots a glance at the feedlines. 400, let's say, to be precise. Carson looks you up and down and sniffs. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what they are worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of the bartering type myself anyway. Let's see. Barter sounds good. Carson nods sagely. There's a little favor I need a crew for, and well, you look like you might be good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hands. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there. Very old, pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one has ever really cut it. He shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship, so it's been left well alone. But a salvager like you with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming. He smiles. I have a special interest, a need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they kept on the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So if I was to find you back here, with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete, well then, I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Carson pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates. Simple as that, he repeats in his monotone way. So, you interested? He glances back at his workbench. Because I'm a busy man. All right then. He holds out a heavy hand for you to shake, and you automatically reach out. He grabs your forearm instead. Carson pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, all right? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. Those coordinates. And he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air, Carson having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Carson's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement in the pit of your stomach and the cacophony of Factory Row in your ears. A contract. Seraphin might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out. You think of leaving this place behind in possession of an improved ship, too. Suddenly a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up! You turn in the passage and see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide she just clearly came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using your shoulder. Sorry. She smiles, a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. I'm Junie. Her dark eyes flick around nervously. You notice the portable terminal she carries, something data scrappers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. She pauses, confused by the question. No? She pauses again. Karsten, she starts, still catching her breath. He sent me to grab you. She smiles, that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. She glances back towards Carson's. I guess he forgot? He does that sometimes. She looks sheepishly at you. He just grabbed me after the two of you were done talking, so. Carson's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out. Keep an eye on things. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So, she looks around the passage. Should I meet you at your ship and you can tell me when you're ready to go? I don't know if we can trust her, but I don't know, we'll try. Okay, great. Her eyes light up. She notices she still has her hand on your shoulder and takes it off. Junie pushes off and waves. Looking forward to working with you, she calls back as an afterthought. You watch her disappear down the passage. Things are getting complicated already. But at least you have a contract and a way to get the feed lines. Junie clearly works with data based on the gear she was looking around, which might make her useful when it comes to pulling out a data core. But the question is, what does she get out of it? And why didn't Carson mention her sooner? You consider your options as you head back towards the rig. I feel like Carson would have said something, because he said to keep it between us. I don't know about this, sleeper. Seraphin looks nervous out of the rig's windows as you finish explaining Carson's deal as well as Junie's offer of help. If this job was easy, Carson would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns at the stars. And there's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. He shakes his head. What if, Seraphin narrows his eyes, we could get the cryo together to buy the feed lines? I found a contract board at the exchange further in station. He gestures towards the hexport. We take on a job? That might get us some of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take on Carson's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. Probably not, but without cryo for fuel and supplies, we aren't going anywhere. Just take a look at the contract board, see what you think. While you're at it, you might see if you can scare up some freelance crew too. Seraphin shrugs. Many hands make light work and all that. Or we stop messing around. We take Carson's job right now and get it done before he can think twice. Seraphin yawns. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I've still got work to do on the drive. Seraphin nods a farewell, heading back to the engine room. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly you curl up, pain shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles locked tight. Your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift, as if some connection is broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you're floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There's nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to. You grit your teeth. And then another shift comes, and you're back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb and then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of a distance that persists beyond the pain, a disconnection between your body and yourself, a flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you'll have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. Could be moments away from collapse, or it might preserve for countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they are yours again. Time is the only thing you need, and right now, it feels like it's running out fast. You head for the airlock. You have work to do. Okay, we have a contract. Cool. So, map. Contracts are high risk, high rewards. Okay, gather enough fuel to travel. So we need fuel, supplies, things like that first. Got it. Okay. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, okay. It's just meaning like, yeah, this is where I gotta do stuff. Okay. And we still have the option to buy. Oh, we would lose money on this, though. I think what we need to do really is rest. Okay. Let's try this. Just hope for positive. Neutral. Okay. So, it didn't help us too much, did it? There we go. I want to see how we can re-roll. There's got to be a way. We need fuel. Sell scrap. Buy supplies. Okay. There we go. Let's see if that's enough that we can go. Let's try. Yeah. Oh. I don't know if we'll have enough to go back, but we'll try. All right, here we go. We'll give it a shot. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't realize that was going to happen. That's bad. It's very bad. The Solheim's derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strutwork. You watch it in horror and fascination as Seraphim completed the approach, both of you silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now as you settle beside it, Seraphim is the first to break the silence. This thing is already dead. He shakes his head. It's a corpse, sleeper. He nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. I touch this thing too hard, it'll crumble into dust. Seraphim glances back at you. No advice? Take us up there. That's the bridge. Ginny points towards one end of the ship, and both you and Seraphim turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. She hasn't said a word since you departed. She glances at both of your bemused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry, that's where we need to go. She stops pointing. Seraphim nods towards Junie. She's not wrong, sleeper. The bridge would be a good start. Junie settles silently back into her seat. She looks away out of the cockpit, and you are unsure if she is upset or just embarrassed. Carefully, Seraphim brings the ship close to the derelict and guides it along the hull. The rig's light ripples over the broken surface, finding gaps and cracks everywhere. It seems remarkable that the derelict is still held together. Shit! Seraphim hisses as a huge spinning piece of debris drifts in front of the cockpit. He pushes the rig down beneath it, squeezing between the debris and the hull. And as he does so, an ear-splitting screech signals the rig scraping across the derelict's skin. You freeze for a moment, waiting for the breach sirens to sound. But the moment passes, and you relax. You glance at Seraphin. His face betrays no emotion. This isn't safe. Seraphin shakes his head. I'm going to find somewhere better to settle the ship. Then we need to suit up and work our way along the hull on foot. You look back at Junie and see her still in her seat, eyes wide. Junie looks at you and there's a sudden unfamiliar hardness in her eyes that surprises you. Then a moment later it is gone and her gaze softens. I'm okay. She smiles a flat smile. Don't worry. I don't think we can trust Junie. I think she's about to screw us. Seraphin brings the ship away from the derelict's hull an inch at a time, then slowly brings it round to settle close to a mostly intact hull plate. This section is fairly free of debris. He nudges the ship a little closer. We should be good to hold here. Seraphin unclips from his seat, and you and Junie follow suit. As you all glide down towards the airlock, Junie silently follows. You can't help but feel judged. As you reach the airlock, Seraphin begins suiting up. If we're lucky, that little collision hasn't started a cascade that will end with this place coming apart under our feet. Seraphin violently kicks his legs into a set of Ava trousers. Ava, clearly irritated by his own carelessness. This is a delicate job, Junie says quietly, almost to herself. The data core will be fragile. She casts a furtive glance in the direction of you and Seraphin. Very fragile. Junie nods appreciatively. The rest of the preparation process takes place in a tense silence, each of you considering the deliberate job ahead. You suit up too, though you don't need a helmet to breathe. You slide one on and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it, but there's a lot of wreck here, and it might be good to salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. Once the suits are on and the seals are checked, you cycle the lock and stare out at the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. Time to go to work. Okay. While in contract, you will be able to assign 2 dice for each crew member, as you would assign your own dice. Okay. He did terrible. She's good. On certain outcomes, crew will take crew stress. When their stress is full, you will no longer be able to use them. While on a contract, your energy bar will automatically be supplied for each cycle that you have available supplies. Then your supplies are depleted. Yeah, I'm effed. Yeah, I'm totally effed. No, I'm effed. I'm completely effed. I have no supplies. I'm screwed. Oh, man. Oh, and mine all changed. Oh, I don't know why I did that. That's a stress. Okay. Is there a way to re-roll? I was really hoping to find a re-roll, but I have not found one. Pressurized bay. So really, we've got to like... We have to... clear all of these things first and like... like, look. It's not going to be good. Shit. Well, he might have a chance. Let's try. Oh. Neutral. Well, we got something. Let's have him try again. Come on, come on, come on. Neutral. Okay, but we found a spot. Cargo storage. Scanning and mapping one will allow you to navigate them safely. We might have to, like, come back to this thing multiple times, honestly. Gosh, she's got all the good rolls. Oh, I'm so screwed. I picked, like, the worst possible stuff. Let's try. There's, like, no way for me to do much else here. Now what? Come on, just give me something. Give me anything, man. Okay. We'll get something, hopefully. Neutral. We got one raw scrap. Ugh. What's this? Hull breach. That's bad. Oh. Oh, there's no way I'm gonna, like, be able to do this. We're gonna have to get out of here. If we even can. We have no supplies to make food. Oi. We'll just have to end the cycle and see what happens tomorrow. I don't know what else to do there. Oi. That's pretty bad. We've got to figure something out. God, we have even worse rolls than we did today. We need to find the thing. We're not going to do well here. Hey. All right. I think our best bet is this. This is going to be rough, though. Jeez, that is not good. I didn't mean to do that, though. Let's try, I mean, it's still possible that it's gonna be bad. Woo, that's good. Breach sealed. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. Yeah, let's not worry about it right now. She's gonna be pointless there. She's not gonna be good here either. Well, we have a 75% chance of getting something good. Positive. Perfect. So we got some scraps. And this isn't gonna be great. No, it's still 75% chance. We can try. Oh. We've got to be really careful. I think we're risking it for the biscuit a little too much. Hack protocol. It needs to be shut down. Oh boy. No, that's not good. Not much we can do about that right now, huh? Ooh. I think I risked too much biscuit. Nothing we can do. Okay, we can't recover stress during a contract. There's nothing. We might as well just try, because good lord. Oh my god, look at this though. Look at this. Oh, this is so much better. Another crisis location. Oh, great. Great, great, great. No, we don't want to do that. Alright. Let's try. Ooh! To give you an edge in a tricky situation. I'll give you a key advantage based on your chosen class. Okay. So, in place of re-rolling, essentially. We better figure some stuff out here. Okay, she'll be good for helping with this. Oof, I don't like that. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, that's good. Ooh, that's still probably bad. Let's try it though. Let's try. Ooh, good. Good, good, good. Alright. Let's see. Guess either's fine. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter, huh? Come on. Oh! Oh, bad. Come on. Let's see. Should we risk this? We only have a 25% chance of not screwing this up. I don't think we can risk it. What can we do? Would this help us? Oh, that's still too much of a risk. It wouldn't help. That also won't help us. Please, please, please. Oh no! Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. There's a horrifying lurch. You are sent spinning through the bay you were crossing in a hail of debris. You watch as the side of the bay silently tears open in front of you, a gaping black maw toothed with flying debris. You stare into it, your breath heavy in your ears, your eyes wide. Suddenly you feel a tug on your back, your tether. As you spin back from the sudden arrest of your glide, you see Seraphin holding onto the other end, reeling you towards him. "We have to go, Sleeper!" His voice comes urgently over the comms channel. "This place is done!" You both make your way up through the splitting derelict in silence, charting a path through What were once passages but are now twisted tubes like the intestinal tract of some dead creature. Eventually you make it out onto the surface and find the rig still tethered, but gashed with debris and scars. You and Seraphin exchange concerned glances. We're going to pay for this. He looks over the damage. Let's hope she still flies. You tether together and push off from the hole, Seraphin guiding you through the debris. Below you, the derelict is exploding in slow motion, tearing apart into a swarm of razor-edged shards. All this and no core, Seraphin fumes. Now the rig's torn up too. You don't have much to offer an answer. He's right. It seems the job was a disaster. You just hope it isn't terminal. It's gone. Junie's voice comes through faintly over the comms. She must already be on the ship. The whole ship is falling apart. No shit, Seraphin answers back. Contract's a bust. What a waste, Junie says quietly, and then the channel clicks off. You arrive at the rig's airlock and bundle yourself inside, noticing the exterior damage. It looks mostly superficial, but it will no doubt take its toll on the ship. Once you're back in the cockpit, you look out at the derelict's shattered form. It seems she will be its last visitors. Oh boy. Yeah, we screwed the pooch. We screwed the pooch on that one, didn't we? As you arrive back into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. I need to speak to both of you. On the journey back, you notice a change in Junie, a hardening, and now she seems very different from the nervous hacker you first brought with you. I know we failed to extract the core, Junie sighs, but I wanted to be honest with you about why I came with you. I don't work for Karsten. Perhaps that was obvious. And I didn't want him to bring the core. I didn't want to bring him the core. Okay. You and Seraphin exchange glances. She looks away. I don't know, Sleeper. Yes, perhaps I would have, but I also would have spoken to you, explained myself. Do you know how many of those cores are left intact? Junie suddenly looks gripped by emotion. Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, in their ruins, and yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here when others like them, like Senatstadt and Conway, are descending on this system? This station and most of the other habitats of the belt are built on a Solheim foundation. She frowns. Yet we are too busy scavenging them to take the time to look for answers. Men like Karsten want nothing but the raw materials of cores like the one we lost. She shakes her head. We can do better. We could learn our history and how the system was settled. We could better learn the technology we build ourselves on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She meets your eye. We could see beyond survival towards something else. You have never heard Junie speak like this, and you realize what you have taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you mourning a data core, is the real Junie. Not that it matters. She glances away. It's all lost now. Keep your honesty, Seraphin cuts in. It's worthless to us. He completes the landing protocols and begins shutting the rig's engines off. We don't have time for confessions. Junie looks crestfallen. Karsten won't come for you. If that's what you're worried about, he's ignorant and stubborn, but he isn't vengeful. That's not what we're worried about. Seraphin gives her a pointed look. Look, Seraphin glances at you and then Junie. We're on the run from someone infinitely more intimidating than Karsten. But we needed that core to trade for the feed lines that were going to take us out of their reach. Junie nods along, her eyes darting back and forth as if trying to calculate something in her mind. Seraphin turns to you. If you have any bright ideas on how to get those feed lines, now would be the time, Sleeper. There's another way, Junie interrupts. I could help you steal the feed lines. She stares at both of you with determination. We could do it together. Seraphin looks at you with raised eyebrows. It seems he's noticing the change in Junie too. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there. She looks at Seraphin. You seem tough. She shrugs. We can do it. Junie gives you the kind of withering expression you wouldn't have thought her capable of cycles ago. Seriously. Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Karsten is probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo. What's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Karsten to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Ugh, my voice is starting to cut out. We gotta be about done here. Seraphin is watching her closely. Even I take you at your word, which given everything seems a little tough. How do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here, and I don't much feel like hanging around and waiting for Karsten to figure out all my involvement in this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphin sighs. I don't like it. He pauses. But it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? Exactly. Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope the place out. Meet me there and we can work out a plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me. We can find a way. We'll keep it simple. Clean. Okay then. Junie smiles. Trust me. This is going to work. I'll go scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Karsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few, and we can finish setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted. That we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage, towards the airlock, and Hexport beyond. You look at Seraphin. I'm not saying anything, Sleeper. He unclips his seat too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get out on the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we're in it now. He leaves the cockpit. You stare at the chaotic lights of Hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward Belt ever runs smoothly. I think we'll end it there. God, this game is something else, guys. Holy cow. I'm going to be talking about this a lot on our podcast, Indie Game Arcade. So if you like indie games and you like deep dives on indie games, please go listen to that. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. There's also a link in the description where you can find Indie Game Arcade. At some point, I'll probably do a Let's Play of all of these. Maybe. We'll see. It's so much reading, though. Ooh! But if you did like this, please let me know. Do the like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. And I think I'll do, I'll put this up. I'll also put a non-commentary version up too. So people can experience that. But anyway, there you go. That's the first hour and change of Citizen Sleeper 2. And hopefully my voice will heal up because it's rough trying to do such a visual novel based sort of thing where you can barely speak. All right. Thanks all. I love you. See you later.